What's going on, guys? What's going on, Thai Squad? What's going on, everybody? So Chris Paul is making NBA history. Chris Paul made just averaged 1,200 assists in the NBA, so he is breaking history. He joins he joins Jason Kidd and John Stockton for for the most assists on the all-time scoring list. So with Chris Paul passing, passing, being in that conversation, passing Jason Kidd, and being in that conversation and passing Jason Kidd, being in that conversation with Jason Kidd and John Stockton for 1,200 assists. I would say this is a big accomplishment for Chris Paul because when we look at what Chris Paul has done, a trip to the NBA Finals with Devin Booker and the Phoenix, a trip to the NBA Finals with the Phoenix Suns. When we look at what Chris Paul has done, the 20 years that Chris Paul has been in the NBA. Chris Paul has been to an NBA Finals, has been to an NBA Finals, has played with James Harden, has played with um, Carmelo Anthony, has played with a bunch of players. Like averaging, Chris Paul having 1,200 assists and being on the all-time scoring list. That is amazing to see because with how Chris Paul is doing, if you ask me, who's the best point guard out of Jason Kidd, out of John Stockton, out of Chris Paul, I would say it would have to come down to Jason Kidd and Chris Paul. It would have to come down to Jason Kidd and Chris Paul to who would be the best point guard, who would be the best point guard, and who can give the ball up and who can play off the ball. And we seen how Chris Paul played off the ball with the Houston Rockets and James Harden. I do think with Chris Paul, if he made the finals that year with James Harden, I would say that would be a big difference there. That would be a big difference there because Chris Paul is going to be a Hall of Famer. Chris Paul has 1,200 assists and on the all-time assist leading, and has the all-time assists and on the all-time assist leading, and is balling and has been balling for 20 years in the NBA. Him and LeBron James are the only two that is in their 20th season, that is in probably their 20th season or 22nd season. Because when we look at what Chris Paul has done, getting to the NBA Finals, getting to the NBA Finals, even though Chris Paul lost to the Bucks in the NBA Finals, we can still say that Chris Paul wants to win a championship. We can still say that. But with him joining this sector of like John Stockton, Jason Kidd, like like Chris Paul is probably going to go down as one of the greatest point guards to ever play. Like when we look at point guards, like in that conversation, we have to put Steph Curry there. We have to put Jason Kidd there. We have to put John Sharp there. We have to put Magic Johnson there. We have to put Chris Paul there. John something. Magic. Those kind of Iverson. We have to put those kind of guys in that conversation. In that conversation. Because Chris Paul played for the OKC Thunder. Chris Paul played for the Hornets. Played for the Rockets. Played for OKC. He got that OKC Thunder team. To the playoffs with Shea. And I'm going to say this. If Chris Paul never went to the OKC Thunder, we wouldn't see what the OKC Thunder is today. Even though we saw the OKC Thunder in 2012 and 2013, I know I'm getting off topic. We saw that Thunder team with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden. And look what Chris Paul has done when he was on that 2019-20 OKC Thunder team. Look at what he has done. He made the OKC get to be the OKC Thunder team, that young team that we're seeing today, because nobody knew when that 2012 Thunder team, 2013 Thunder team was going to be what that team was going to be. Because that's still a big what if. Like, what if James Harden and Kevin Durant and Westbrook stayed? But I'm going to say this. I know I got off topic there. But I'm going to say this. Is that Chris Paul having 1,200 assists, he could easily, I think by the end of Chris Paul's career, he could easily be probably a all-time, probably be that first team number one in all assists. He could be that number one, the all-time number one assist leader by the end of his career. Whenever Chris Paul's end of his career is done, he could become probably number one of all-time assists, because him breaking this record is amazing to see. Because records are supposed to be broken. But him catching up to like John something, to Jason Kidd, is amazing to see. But he has 1,200 assists. I can say that when Chris Paul is done with when Chris Paul retires, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And I think he's going to be that top 5, top 10 guy, that top 10, top 5, and finish, be that top 10 point guard in conversations of point guards, and also be that all-time assist leader is what I'm trying to say. That all-time assist leader. Like, I think Chris Paul is going to do that. But like, guys, Chris Paul's teams, like playing with Jamal Crawford and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, playing with Lob City and getting to the playoffs and not able to get over that hump. That was a good team with Chris Paul on it. The OKC Thunder team, like if Chris Paul made the OKC Thunder a better team, like we see teams today. Chris Paul made the OKC Thunder better and got them to the playoffs got them to be a playoff team. Not like before, after Kevin Durant and Westbrook and James Harden left. Chris Paul made the OKC Thunder a playoff team again. He played with James Harden in the Rockets, made that to play for the Rockets. That was a good team for Chris Paul. Played for the Warriors. Good team. Got them play for the Warriors. And play for the Hornets and play for the Spurs now. I think every team that Chris Paul has been on has been a playoff team or been to the playoffs with Chris Paul, because Chris Paul makes a difference. Just look at the Clippers team with Jamal Crawford, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul. They almost made the conference finals that year. They should have won a championship. And I'm going to say this. This is a what if. If there was this is a what if. Chris Paul almost got traded to the Lakers. If he got traded to the Lakers, he would have played with the great Kobe Bryant. And I do think they would have won a championship, but that trade never happened. I think every team that Chris Paul has been a part of, like he's in that, every team he's been a part of is been a playoff team or been a tender team. Because Chris Paul, with 1,200 assists and being a part of that group of Jason Kidd, John Stockton, Iverson, like by the time Chris Paul's career is done, he's probably going to have that number one assist record at the end. But guys, sub if you're new and never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there. And stay blessed, everybody, and peace.